Hey, hello friends, I'm extremely sorry for the delay. Extremely sorry for the delay. Okay, come on, let's get started, friends. Let's get started. All there with me? All right, friends, all there with me? All there? Hey, go on mute mode, yeah. Today, what's happening? You are all getting on. I don't know who's getting on to unmute mode every now and then. So please go on mute mode. Okay, that's really nice. Thank you. So now another new thing that we're going to learn is this, friends. Please see this. I hope you can all see my screen. You can hear me loud and clear. So what are we going to do now? We are going to see another option. So you see these are the properties that we have, and we can define our own properties as well. We can very well define our own properties. Like for example, I can very well say, okay, I can very well say my application. So say my or I'll write training dot I'll say company dot name. Okay, training dot company dot name is equal to, and I'll give some value. I'll say PWC, for example, right? So suppose say it's my application. Volume keeps dropping for anyone else, or okay, please confirm to Anikindu, friends. Is the volume dropping for everyone, or it's only for him? Oh, is it? Okay, so I will join back again. Just a minute. Sometimes. Okay, just let me check audio connection and what option is available. Let me check audio settings. Okay, come on. So in the interest of everyone, let me explain this once again very quickly. So you see, we talked about creating a property here, training.company.name. Very good, Navya. Very nice. So you see training.company.name and whatever the value is. Then we also talked about overriding the value as same as we override the value for the other properties. We can very well do that. Now, since this is one of the properties which is our own property, not the one that Spring uses, so we may want to use this in our application. So how do we use it? Say for example, I go to customer DAO, and this is the place where I want to get the value of this property. What is the property? Training.company.name is equal to PWC, whatever the value is. But then this is the property that I want. So I will write @value in double quotes, dollar, and open and close bracket, and then training.company.name. This is what I will be writing. And then I declare a variable here, and that variable value is used here. So it will automatically pick up the value. As you can see for yourself over here, whatever is configured here in this properties file, that value will be picked up and it will be displayed here. Correct? Here you see. And the second point that I talked about was, I repeat, the second point that I talked about was, I said if you do not have the property declared at all, and still if you have used it over here, then in that case it will give you an exception. See this, it says that property placeholder for that. You can see this here. The exception that it gives you is this: could not resolve placeholder training.company.name in value. It did not get the value. So you want to write code in such a way that the value, if present in application properties, then pick it up, or else some default values. The default value, say for example, price, water, okay, water coopers, right? This is the value, by default value, that I have given. Now it will not give an exception, though it is not defined anywhere. It will pick up the default value here without giving any exceptions. This is how it is, right? So these are some interesting points as far as your code is concerned, right? As far as your your properties are concerned. So this is how you make use of your properties as well. So we have talked about in Spring Boot there are so many things that automatically happens, and then we talked about auto configuration, very important point. Then we talked about @bean, right? We talked about @bean. See this over here in my app configuration. Don't forget this, you will come across this several times. I repeat, you're going to come across this several times, right? So please do not underestimate the usage of this. This is very extensively used, very extensively used, right? So you've got to pay attention here. Okay, and then we also talked about the properties. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about is How do you make use of your APIs? So you see what we're going to do is that I think we already have, yeah, Spring Training here. So I will close this application. There were certain things that we wanted to discuss and then we have discussed here. But then otherwise, let me close this application and let me go back to the one that we were working on. Here you go. Okay, this is the one in which we have database and everything else well said. As you can see this here, resources. So we have got one single application or properties file, but what if I wanted a different database to use? So let me change this to localhost also, right? Because this will I'm today I'm running this application on the machine on which the database is, it's on the same database. And then what if I wanted to have different database for different environment? Then I can very well click on application hyphen property hyphen dev application hyphen dev prod QA and so on. These are the different environments that you work on, isn't it? That's what you do. So this is how it is now. Let's proceed further. We have got loads of other things to discuss out here and very interesting stuff coming ahead, friends. You remember we have been working with our REST controllers, correct? Customer REST controller. You remember this? And see the APIs that we have built over here. We have built these APIs, customers by address. You remember this customers and stuff? Please recollect, friends. If you have any questions, you can very well, raise those questions. Correct? All right, friends. So we did not go ahead and declare the other things here. Now let's go ahead and do some important stuff here. You see this list of customers, getting all the list of customers is fine, but you remember we did implement something like this: handle get customer and the path variable integer ID. Do you remember this? Right? Let me run this for you, and then it will be easier. So how did we invoke this, friends? How did we invoke this? How did we invoke this? So we said localhost 8080. It's running on which? Yeah, 8081. Let's say it's 8081 slash. I will say slash, and then I say customers. You remember? Slash 101. So it gives me the first customer. If I say 02, it gives me the second customer, and then so on, right up to 5. But what if I give something which does not exist? If I give something which does not exist, so you see that I get nothing, and let me refresh this. I get nothing, and I still get the I get the status as 200. This is not the way the front-end application would expect the API to work. What they want is that whenever they invoke an API in order to get the data, if the data is available, then fine, give us the data. But if data is not available based on the parameters passed, based on the path variables or whatever, based on whatever we have in the API, if there is no data available server side, then it must return 404. I repeat, it must return 404. Correct? Now how do we do that? How do I return 404 from here? If the value is there, then it must work. It must return the value. But if the value is not there, then it must return 404. I hope you all are all there with me and you all are clear on my requirement. Are you clear on my requirement, friends? Correct. Exactly. 404 not found. Not found. Yes, response status. Correct. Exactly. You are very close with it. But we are returning a customer from here. So how can we return the status and stuff? Because customer object is a customer object. That customer object has got ID, name and address. How do I tell the browser that the response status is 404? So you see how beautiful Spring Boot is. I can say response entity instead of returning back the customer. I'll say response entity of type customer. I will use a generic. Got that? And here I will not return customer here like this. Instead, what I return is this. I say, see this now, friends. See the way we are going to work with this. First of all, you're going to get the value. Okay, now see how APIs and how the implementation changes. So what is it that this customer gives you? So let me click on customer. customer service dot get customer. Okay, and then here you see, from here we are making a call to the DAO, and in the DAO, you remember, if it is present, then in that case we get the customer object and we return it back, else we return null. This is not a good way of doing it. This is actually not a good way of doing it. Then what is the best way of doing it? See, and you remember we had also talked about exception handling. So your DAOs must return optional only, optional customer. It must always return DAO must, because whether the object is present or not is not the responsibility of the DAO class to check. So I am going to remove all of this code, rather just comment it, and I say find by ID optional customer, and I'm going to say return OPT customer directly, nothing else. Correct, but it says two problems because somewhere I have used this and there, the signature is such that it is expecting a customer back. So let me click here, and you see in one of the cases, you see this here, there are two places where I have used it. So this is one place which is my test case. I will just simply for the time being comment it. Okay, so that's okay, but I'll go to my DAO again, and then see one problem is still there. So this is my customer service class where I am having my customer object. Got it? So here I will certainly return a customer object, but then how will I return a customer object? See this, I'll say if, so first of all I'm going to fire this return customer DAO. What is it that I'm going to get back? Tell me. When I fire this on the left hand side, what is it that I'm going to get back? Tell me. I'll be very happy. If you are with me, I'm sure you will be able to give me the right answer. No, not the customer object. You see, we have just changed the signature. So what do you think I'll be getting on the left hand side? Come on. Yeah, so give me complete answer. Correct. Rakesh's answer is correct. Correct. So the right answer would be, it will give me an optional of customer. Correct. This is what it is going to give me. Okay. Customer optional. This is what it is going to give me. Okay. Now this is the business logic class. Customer service is the business logic class. It is in this place that I am going to write this. Yes, very good, Devdeep. So first of all, before I move on, I'll go to my services. Right, and in services I've got customer service. Before I proceed further, I will create a new exception class. What will be the name of the exception? Customer not found. Customer not found exception. Got that? And you know how to create exceptions. You're going to extends from come on exception, isn't it? And then you can always have a default customer not found exception. Customer not found exception. This is my default constructor. That's how you create exceptions, isn't it? And then you have one with a message string MSG, another constructor, and I say super MSG, isn't it? This is what I have. Correct. So now I go back here. See, I have created a customer not found exception. See, now I go back to my customer service and tell me what is it that I must be writing. If customer optional dot is present, that means there is an object present there. That means it was successful. The finder method was successful. Then I return customer optional dot get. It will get me the customer object from the optional object. Else, tell me what? Throw new customer not found exception. Customer with ID, and I'll say, all right, and I'll say ID not found, isn't it? Not found. This is how it is. See, take a look. So here also I must declare what? Throws customer not found exception. Perfect. Got this, friends? Right, again there are two problems. Let's see one of the problems. I'm sure it's there in our Okay, so one of the problems is there in this controller and the other problem is here. Correct. So let's see. Let's go to the customer controller and customer REST controller. So let me go to the customer controller. We have stopped using it, so I will comment this also, the whole thing. Correct. But I will go back to customer REST controller, and you remember customer REST controller, we were getting the ID and we were returning it back. Based on the ID we were getting the customer object. Now what is it that you will have to do? You will have to say customer is equal to, but you will have to surround this in a try catch block. Surround this in a try catch block. Take a look. So I will try to get this, and the exception catching exception is customer not found exception. Now see the fun. If I get the valid customer, I'll say return new customer, right? Return new. I'll say response entity of type customer, and I will return customer object, comma, I'll say HTTP status dot OK, right? That means everything is fine. And if suppose, all right, if suppose it was not found, then please see what I'm doing. I'll say customer entity, you can see this, and I'll say HTTP status dot not found underscore not found. Now what is this not found? 404. Can you see this? Not found is 404, isn't it? Now you see how have we handled the situation. You got this? Now let me run this code and show you the results. Okay, so it has started successfully. I go back here and I say 101. Can you see this? I'll say 101, I get the data. I say 104, I get the data. I say 105, I get the data, but 106 which is not there. Now when I do this 106, please see 106, the status is what? Come on, what is the status? 404. So the front-end application like Angular or React.js or Ionic for the mobile application, or for Flutter for that matter, mobile application development platform, it knows if it is 404, it will give the appropriate error message to the user saying that was not found. Correct? That's exactly how it is. You got this? So I know I have gone fast on this because there is nothing new except for this response entity that we have used. I'm going to keep this open, rest is not. So instead of that, I'll say draw.io. Okay. And then here I'll say, okay, response entity. So what did I do? What did I do? Or rather I'll say exception handling. So what did I do? I have customer DAO class. Come on, you know this very well, customer DAO class. And in that I have a method called, so let me expand this. Let me change this to 15, should be just good. And I have a method over there called get customer. Come on, yes or no? Get customer by ID. What is it that it is supposed to return back? Now the new code, optional of customer. This is what you're going to return back. Right? This is what you're going to do. This customer DAO is being called by, who calls this customer DAO? Come on, it is the service class. So you have customer service class here. You have customer service class. And in this customer service class also, you do have a customer object, but here get customer will return to you the customer exactly. Okay, but how are you going to handle this, friends? So let me bring this down. How are you going to handle this? You're going to make a call to what? Come on, you're making a call to the DAO. If I'm writing in pseudocode, if present, fine, and return customer, or else throw which exception? Come on, customer not found exception. Right? This is a part of your business logic. Yes, customer not found exception. This is what you're going to do here. And then you also have something like REST controller. You have got customer REST controller. Correct. Again, there you have got the handler to get the customer. What is the handler to get the customer, friends? You've got slash get, and you say slash customers, not slash get, just say get, and you say customers slash, you've got ID. Come on, this is the API that you have, isn't it? This is the API that you have. So let me group this up. Let me bring this down. Let me group this up. Let me bring this down. Okay, so customer service makes a call to this, correct? And then from here you make a call to what? Customer service. But here when you make a call, you will what are you returning back now in this? What you will be returning back? Response entity is what you will return back of customer. Come on, yes or no? You getting the point? And here in this case, let me change this to 14. And what is that additional thing that you will be writing here, my dear friends? What is that additional thing that you will be writing? You will be writing, if no exception, then okay, this is the code that I'm anyway showing you. This is the code that I'm showing you. You see this here? Correct? And this is the flow. This is the flow. So I will do one thing. So you see this. So you have complete hint. There is a complete support. You must be able to do this all on your own. Come on, friends. This is the last 2 weeks. I have promised your stakeholders that you all will be able to. You all will be deployable on the project right on day 1 after my training is done. Okay, so I'm sure you can do that. I'm sure you will be deployable. Come on, friends. This is what it is. So I have shown you what are you doing in customer DAO. I've given you the hints here. Customer service, I've given you the hints from customer service. And wherever after changing the signatures here in customer service and this, if you are facing any issues, of course, you will have to create a new class called customer not found exception. This will be an exception class. And you know how to create an exception class. We have studied that already. And this is the code for handle get customer. Anywhere else you are using this method, customer service.get customer, you can comment that. Absolutely, koi problem nahi hai, you can comment it. Okay, you got that, friends? Please see, right? This is what you're supposed to do. Come on, get started. Okay, and wait, what's the time now? What's the time? Okay, it's 12:48, almost 1. So I want you all to complete this in next max to max 15 to 20 minutes. So that would be like 1:10 or so, and then 1 hour lunch break. We will be back at 2:10. Okay, friends, I'm assuming that you will complete this as well as the lunch break by 2:10. Right, friends? Please confirm. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Perfect.